Do you love the look of star blocks but cringe at the thought of matching all these points? Why not relax and try one of these faux sawtooth stars? In this video, I'll show you how to make these 8-inch stars with tips that turn out perfect every time. You only have 4 intersections to match on this faux sawtooth star, unlike a traditional sawtooth star where you have 16 intersections and points to match. First, I'll go over how to make this star where the rays overlap. Then I'll give you directions for making this star with spaces between the rays. I'll be using the quick corner method, so you won't have to worry about cutting these triangles or dealing with biased edges. Only squares and other rectangles are used in this star. To get started, I pressed all my fabric and then I cut one 3.5-inch square for the center and 8 2.5-inch squares for the rays. I've folded these squares on the diagonal and then I've pressed because I need a line to follow when I stitch that diagonal. You might prefer to draw this line. Either way is fine. From the background fabric, I cut 4 3-inch squares for the corners. Then I cut 4 3.5 by 3-inch rectangles for the area between these rays. To make the rays on this star, I started off with 1 square and 1 rectangle. Then I put right sides together and I stitched on that diagonal. I took it to my ironing board and I pressed this back. So I ended up with a piece that looked like this. Now I have the option of leaving this excess in, or I can trim that out. But I think for this demonstration I'm going to leave that in. I've made 4 of these and now I'm ready to add the ray in this corner. I take a square and my piece, I put right sides together. My diagonal now is going in this direction. I stitch that line and then I press. Sometimes I don't always follow that straight line very well, and when I go to press I might be off a little like this. If it's just a little, which a little means it's under 1/4 of an inch off, then that's okay because I've got this rectangle in the back that's the true size of this piece, and that's what I'll end up following. I've laid out my star and now I'm ready to sew each row, this one, this row, and this row, together using 1/4-inch seams. When I sewed each row together, I didn't have to worry about matching any points or any intersections. So these 2 seams are going to involve some matching at these intersections. So to help out with that matching, I've put some directions here for pressing. I like to press the seams in opposing directions, so let me show you what that entails. The seams in this row have been pressed out, the seams in this row have been pressed in, and the seams in this row have been pressed out. When I put right sides together, these seams will butt up against each other. So here's those 2 seams. I put them right sides together and they push. This is a hill and this is a hill, and they push up against each other. So I'll pin that across there, take it to my sewing machine, and sew. I sewed all my seams and then pressed, and here's my completed block. Here's another pattern for a faux sawtooth star. It's almost identical to the last one, except there's spacing between the rays. They don't overlap. I like to use this pattern when I'm making stars where the center and the rays are made from different fabric. This star is constructed like the previous block using that quick corner method, but the cutting sizes are a little bit different. On this block, I decided to get rid of some of that excess bulk by cutting off these triangles. It's an extra step, but it might make it easier to match these intersections if you're having trouble with all that bulk. You can just throw the extras away or save them for another project. Here's my completed block. If you'd like a free copy of these directions, please email me at learnquilting@gmail.com. You can also request directions for these traditional sawtooth stars located in the center of this quilt. Hope you decide to relax and use one of these stars in your next project. Thank you for visiting learnhowtoquilt.com. Please share our videos with your friends. Thanks.